Hey, Lucas. This is your editor speaking. Do you got that Ghost Rider cover for me? You sure you got that Ghost Rider cover? Is that Ghost Rider cover finished? Yeah, boss. Real fucking sexy, just like you asked. What? Hey, it's a Deadpool negative. I just had to do a little. So, at first, I thought this cover was meant to be a black costume cover, but I mean, clearly was it's clearly to Stormbreakers, Lucas Wernick. Okay, it's just this is the cover to Amazing Spider-Man 49. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, the slightly enjoyable Spider-Man. So once again, it's I guess this is supposed to be the Alejandro Ghost Rider, which nobody remembers since that series was nearly 15 years ago, lasted 9 issues, and then the character got killed off in a crossover. Yeah, they got killed off in a crossover because everybody gets killed. Everybody whose series doesn't do well gets killed off in a crossover. At Marvel, anyway. At, at DC, you just get killed off in a Jeff Johns comic. Anyway, this is of all the issues I've reviewed of Spider-Man, which I keep reviewing because I'm stupid. This is probably the best one because like it kind of reminds me of the shades of that how like Brian Bendis only seemed to actually produce a script that seemed remotely like he actually wanted to when he was doing one-offs tying into crossovers, except for that. But let's not talk about Bendis. Yeah, this is tying into Blood Hunt, which is vampires invading, etc. Didn't Jason Aaron do this in his run? Who cares? Um, and I'm not too into the crossover. Some of the tie-ins look good. I mean, I would buy that Dracula book just to annoy Comics by Perch, but it's Vincenzo Caruto art and Caratu art, and like, come on, like I like put. I mean, you putting money in Danny Lore's pocket, but I have to look at that dull, flat artwork. Um, and but it's just the vampires invade. Like it's. I mean, I like Jed MacKay. I think Jed MacKay is generally a good writer. I think is one in terms of who's actually in Marvel right now. The Blood Hunters thing looks kind of good, but like it's an anthology. Want it? Basically, I'm just waiting for the trade on Blood Hunt, and I just don't like that style of artwork, like Vincenzo Caruto, um, Pepe Larraz. Like it, I don't like that whole weird blackout. I call it color forms coloring, but it's not really coloring. That's not really the word for it. But anyway, let's get back to the actual comic in hand. So, Spider-Man's fighting vampires, and the White Rabbit has become one of them. And remember, this is like the White Rabbit was a lot more whimsical and funny, and I think around the time the Absolute Carnage one shot came out, that Peter David wrote, it became Harley Quinn point 2. And it was kind of funny because they gave her a black sidekick, like just like Harley Quinn had during the Carl Kiesel run. I do think Zeb Wells maybe tipping his hat to that character a little bit. That guy was not Carly's boyfriend; he was just her sidekick. Here, he's her actual boyfriend. So anyway, Spider-Man's fighting vampires, and he's trying to figure out a way he's trying to reduce the loss of life. And yeah, people try to do that in Marvel. People try to do that in superhero comics when I started reading them. And what happens is he gets text messages from Kareem, who inexplicably has his number. Well, they do explain it, but it's still crazy that he has his number. And he wants him to help out the White Rabbit, and he says, "You got to kill the vampire that turned her." And so Spider-Man tracks down and confronts the vampire who turned her. There's also a weird line where Kareem gives him a bag of stakes, like wooden stakes. Okay, did he make those? It's like, no, he got them from a construction site. Okay. I guess we got to move this plot forward. Like, yeah, like I ganked these from a construction site. Like they look like actual made stakes, not like was the original line was the line of dialogue thinking like, well, I stole some wood from a construction site and shaded him, but no. I have to say, I know I'm bagging on this, but It's actually because what happens when I'm not going to spoil it. What happens when Spider-Man confronts the vampire that turned the White Rabbit? It's very different than you'd expect. It's very, I mean, and I think John Romita Jr., who's kind of been phoning it in on this title, I think, for a lot of it. He does a really, really nice job of the artwork because a lot of it is conversations between Kareem and Spider-Man, between Spider-Man and the vampire who turned the White Rabbit. I mean, there's some action scenes, but it's just this one story in isolation, and it's about like how Peter's trying to be heroic, but the world won't let him be heroic, and there's just nasty things happening to him. And he just, I mean, it shows like it's one of those stories that's about how bad things can affect a person. And Spider-Man does some nasty things at the end of this story to these vampires, which I think was a bit surprising. But I really think this is just a good, really nice characterization by Wells. Like, it's what he does best. These small in isolation character moments and stories. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's because it's the crossover, or he doesn't have to like juggle any balls in the air. The subplots he's been doing. I mean, I kind of like what the setup in the previous issue, like with the Sinister Six wanting to go after the living brain for some reason. I really was really happy with this issue. I think it's and it's pretty neat. And although it's funny to read like Nick Lowe talking about like the issue 50 and the Return of the Green Goblin. Like, I know Nick Blood thinks everybody who's not him is an idiot. Oh wait, that's Tom Brevoort. No, Nick Blood is an actual idiot. You did that 5 years ago with the last 50th issue of Spider-Man you put out was the Return of the Green Goblin. So that's not really impressive to me or pretty much anyone. I'm going to check it out because Ed McGuinness and some nice backups, but it's a fun book to talk about. But is it worth my $5.99 most of the time? I don't know. This issue I thought was definitely worth my $5.99. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. Hit the bell for notifications, like and subscribe, etc. And thanks a lot.